One Zambia, One Nation. With the news at 16 hours on TV2, I'm Patricia Ellis Pumalo. A look at the top stories in the news. President Edgar Lungu has urged Zambians to continue praying for peace and unity ahead of the August 11, 2016 general elections. And also coming up in the news, the UN Security Council says it is alarmed by ties between Nigeria's Boko Haram Islamist militant and the Islamic State IS group. Thank you so much for joining us in the news in detail. President Edgar Lungu has urged Zambians to continue praying for peace and unity ahead of the August 11, 2016 general elections. He has since urged all PF members and the nation at large to remain prayerful and peaceful even when provoked beyond measure. The president has explained that there are many countries that are still struggling to recover from pain and anguish as a result of hate speech. President Lungu has told scores of people who welcomed him at Simon Mwansaka Pwepo International Airport in Ndola on the Copper Belt that the battle at hand is not for him, but God. And President Lungu says he will not respond to some sections of the media and individuals insulting him. He says all those insulting him are bitter because the people of Zambia elected him as president of the country. President Lungu has added that he is not bothered by the hate speech by a named media institution because God will deal with it. Mr. Lungu was responding to former Copper Belt Minister Mwenya Msenge, who urged the president to deal with some media houses insulting him. Mr. Msenge said it is un-Zambian for the media and people to print hate speech and insults on the president. The president is, among other things, watching a football match in Kitwe between Nkana and Power Dynamos. The Zambia National Union of Teachers, ZNUT, has praised President Edgar Lungu's resolve to build more classrooms for pupils in some schools across the country. ZNUT General Secretary Newman Wubala says the construction of secondary schools by government is worth supporting because it will allow more pupils access to education. Mr. Wubala says the current state of affairs, where pupils are left out on account of not having enough classroom accommodation, is not good. He has told TV2 News that huge investment in education is the way to go, as this is a sure way to develop the country.
This is what we've always been saying. A lot of children enter grade 1, a lot of children write grade 7, a lot of children write, a lot of pupils that write grade 10. And what we would like to see is a situation where every Zambian should have access to education. As a teacher, as really, this is what we want. We want to make sure that every one of our teachers access education. Now, we realize that there has been a problem of some children making it, but no space. That's been the problem. The cutoff point really is a situation where a pupil might have passed, but there's no space. But when you upgrade a lot of them, that means a lot of them will access education. That's most welcome. And it also, our appeal is that maybe we can now entail more of training more teachers, meaning that we should build even more colleges, more universities, so that from colleges and universities we can have a lot of teachers, so that as these schools are upgraded, we have also enough teachers to getting ready to be sent to the same schools.
Now, the Lusaka City Council says some of its non-performing assets in the city will be sold. This is in order to minimize huge losses being made in maintaining them, as well as raise revenue to pay off retirees. Council Director for Estate and Evaluation, Mwicha Mdala, says the decision has been approved by the Council and the Ministry of Local Government. Mr. Mdala says there are some properties where the Council is spending huge sums of money on maintenance without any significant returns. Among the properties is the current offices for the Ministry of Local Government on Church Road. Mr. Mdala was speaking when he featured on 7 Days Today, a TV2 news and current affairs program.
The thought process before a disposal can be actually concluded has to be religiously observed. First of all, we do what is called a sensitivity analysis. We would look at the net worth of the property. That is to look at the maintenance cost vis-a-vis the income that it is bringing in the coffers of the local authority. We'd also look at our immediate challenges. What are some of the challenges that we have and how can we mitigate them? And I think that is the purpose of management. So we would, using some quite complex algorithms and calculations, come up with some formulas to see which properties are actually responding and resonating well with the initial thought that we had as a commercial venture, and whether it's giving us the yield and return that we expected from the outset.
Elsewhere, Sinda in the Eastern Province, like many other districts in the country, has not been left out of the agenda on the infrastructure development. Several infrastructure development projects have since been initiated in the area. Here's a report.
3 years when Sinda was declared a new district, and yet it has seen massive infrastructure development. Before being declared a district by the late President Michael Sata, Sinda was like any other rural area in the country without modern infrastructure.
The civic center is at roof level. The police station is almost finished because the roofing is being done, and also the general administrative office for government offices is also being done. So I think so far the projects that are going on are satisfactory, and we expect that very shortly the issue of having office accommodation challenges will be the thing of the past in Sinda district.
Works on the police station, high school and government houses are nearly in completion.
The second target, we have 10 staff houses, 8 of which are local cost houses and 2 medium cost houses. We started this project on 5th February last year. So you can see what we are doing is the final touches. That is, we are looking forward to painting. Otherwise, we are hopeful that we will not reach October.
The continuation of these projects is a clear indication that government is committed in taking development and power to the people. This is in line with the objectives of the decentralization policy. Reporting for Zanis News, I'm Maxwell Chipaso in Sinda, Eastern Province.
In international news, the UN Security Council says it is alarmed by ties between Nigeria's Boko Haram Islamist militants and the Islamic State IS group. In a statement, it said Boko Haram, which pledged allegiance to IS in 2015, continued to undermine the peace and stability in West and Central Africa. Meanwhile, a senior U.S. official said there were reports of Boko Haram fighters joining IS in Libya. Nigeria is hosting a summit on fighting Boko Haram. President Muhammadu Buhari is hosting counterparts from Benin, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger for the gathering in Abuja, along with French President Francois Hollande, UK Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond, and US Deputy Secretary of State Antony Blinken. To end the news at 16 hours on TV, to a recap on the top stories. President Edgar Lungu has urged Zambians to continue praying for peace and unity ahead of the August 11, 2016 general elections. He has since urged OPF members and the nation at large to remain prayerful and peaceful, even when provoked beyond measure. And finally, in the news, the UN Security Council says it is alarmed by ties between Nigeria's Boko Haram Islamist militants and the Islamic State IS group. In a statement, it said Boko Haram, which pledged allegiance to IS in 2015, continued to undermine the peace and stability in West and Central Africa. Well, on that note, we end the news at 16 hours. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Patricia Ellis-Pumla. Good afternoon.